Hey everyone, GeForce41 here with another casual coaching design tip video. This one's going to be a little unique. I hope to do more of these. Today we're going to do a playthrough of a beta, and it's only 6 holes, so this will be a quick one, but I think that's good. Um, Neil asked me to do this for him, and I'm happy to do so. And rather than giving feedback and typing it all up, I figured I'd just give it as I play and put out a video. So Neil and I have been corresponding. He's a fellow Massachusetts native, and he's got a course going called Pocasset Beta, which I found interesting because Pocasset is actually my favorite local course that I've played. It's one of my favorite courses I've ever actually played. It's a nice private course just over the bridge down in Cape Cod. This is not an RCR of that course. I think he just named it that after the town, the location. So he's got 6 holes in, one of which is kind of incomplete, but I'm going to give him my thoughts and see what's going on with this course. So let's get right to the golf. Okay, first tee. Just so you know, I'm playing. There's only 2 tees. Playing the back ones. It's not much of a difference, I don't think. From the other ones, wind I'm playing medium northeast, just as a default. That's my default when I don't have a preference from the designer. So tee boxes are in. You got them almost flat. Make sure to flatten them before you finish, my man. I instinctively check them just from what I test. Not a bad sight line to start. A little flat, but I like it. It's definitely got that kind of Pocasset-like feel. For anybody who doesn't know, Pocasset is a Donald Ross. To me, it's super interesting because it's very playable, but there's a lot of elevation changes, elevated greens and such. So I think this is basically a Massachusetts kind of private course. I think Old Sandwich might come to mind here, but let's take a look. Not bad. I like the textures you've chosen. Just flatten this stuff out a little around the edges, and you've got some bunker sculpting that looks pretty good, actually. You might want to sculpt a little bit more around. We'll talk about that later. You've got some red hues going up there, which I think is the old sandwich kind of vibe. But not bad. I like the setup. I think that's maybe a little kind of too severe. I'd flatten that a little. All right, and I think you said you were using a 287 driver when you were designing, so close. I got 292 going. I think some more grass. I'm sure, obviously, you'll add more, but the look and the feel you've got going looks pretty good. I like the textures you've chosen. You've kind of got some high and low sides going on the bunkers. So let's talk. They like the bunker placement. The greens wrapping around. I kind of like those. I would just smooth the spline out, right? Because you're kind of like, what's going on here? It's kind of flat. Then it's not. And then, so just make sure you go through these splines and really get them nice curves or not. But, that's kind of like clunky there. Make sure you get those finishing touches on them. Right here, make sure you touch up these transitions into the greens. Okay? And then sculpt the bunkers. I'm not going to waste time on the bunkers just yet. The green, to me, trying to figure out which way this one's going. It's kind of going a little of both. It's not really a puddle. It's a little puddly. I would pick a direction here. I don't know the general layout of the course because I don't know where the kind of high side of the course is and the low side. So this looks like the corner of the property. So you're off to the side. My guess is, just by looking at this, it might go that way, but you could also have it go that way. I would just pitch it one way or the other a little bit. Not that the whole thing has to go that way, but it's kind of in between. So I'd give it a little bit more pitch, and I'd elevate just a little more. If you're doing, it's supposed to be a Ross, you can go up a bit, right? Because this is, what, 4 feet, 3, 2. That's only 2 feet up. That's not particularly elevated. So we'll see how your greens go from here. But as far as the shot's concerned, fine. Simple hole to start. Not a ton of strategy. That's probably the toughest hole location on the hole. And again, you see your beads up there, they're not kind of going anywhere up top. So, don't be afraid to just gently move it one direction or the other. Simple start. Then you move to a par 3. Again, not bad. Pretty flat though, right? So it's only 3 feet up. Again, it's not being on PlayStation. It's so hard to see the overall terrain. You could raise the tee box. You could raise the green a little, or both. That's not bad. I mean, that's a subtle hill. I wouldn't raise it much, just because of the way this hole lays. I think it sits there pretty. That's actually pretty nice looking shot. It's framed pretty well. And again, you got bunkers on the low side on the left. Not bad. I like the green shape. That's a little bit more like, I want to say, not really Inverness-y. Scioto, maybe? It's a couple of, I think I used that in one of my videos, a whole shape like that. And again, you got this thing where the whoa, I'm not even doing that. Really? You're kind of seriously, I'm not doing that. This is not the controller that sticks usually. My controller's totally sticking on me. Sorry. Don't ruin my video, controller. You've got that fairway wrapped around, and then you've kind of got that it's snug to the left side. Again, you can do that. I think on a par 3, that's fine. Just, again, play with that spline. And here, again, I'm not sure which way this green's going. I would think here, definitely, looking at this, the hill's up here. You'd want this side higher than this side. So I would pitch this the other way. And you can even have this back. I don't want to say it's a tier, but I would say this, you could elevate that a little bit. And look at that green. Actually, in the video, the more I'm thinking of it, that Scioto green, I think it was 10. I forget which one it was. It was a pretty good one to copy here. But yeah, have a little knoll here and a knoll here. And then you're going to have some kind of sections a little bit. But yeah, not bad. Simple 3. So far, I'd say we're on the right track. Just make everything a little more interesting. Don't make it hard. Don't put in 3 tiers and all that kind of stuff, right? Don't make it too severe. To a 4. Okay, these tee boxes look a little odd. It looks like they're lower than they're in little valleys. It's okay. Ooh, I like that right in front of us. So there's the red thing coming in. So if you're going to do this, that's going to look pretty cool, I think. Because, yeah, from the tee box, that looks really cool. So hopefully you'll have enough meter to put that around, around the course, because that works. Make sure you display those bunkers. Not bad. They're a little hidden there. Just make sure they stay visible. That's kind of a cool look. And now, yeah, I like the fairway here. You've got it going kind of, at an angle, and it's got some nice contours to it. It's nice and wide. So this is pretty good. That bunker there, what the heck is going on there? That's a little too weird and small, I think. I would do something with that. And this one's kind of big. I'd make that maybe a little smaller. But the rest of the strategy. All right, now we got something going here. It's a little different. You got the bunker on the right side. And we'll talk about the green in a second. So this is good. This you can almost drive. All right, so it's almost drivable. Oh, and you got to cut the corner if you want to do it. So I like that. That's not a bad idea. And that's very New England. Usually the drivable 4s in this game, people... they're right there for the taking, and they're very severe in terms of risk when you get there. Here, the risk isn't really there. The risk is there, the trees. And that's a New England thing. We got to fit holes in corners and around bends because there's not much room. There's not much terrain. Um, so that's a pretty good idea. I like it. Let me talk the green here. Again, I would give it just a little bit more slope and contour, and I think it's fair to go off to the left. I'm not. I think because you've got that kind. I can't go over there with the camera. You've got it falling off to the left, so you might want to kind of keep that theme. That bunker's a little wonky, but let's see what happens. Pretty cool. Simple idea. I think you could be a little bit more adventurous with the green, given that it's not that much of a risk off the tee, unless you really try to cut that corner. Okay, 4. Looks a little like 1 off the tee. Not bad. Not just make sure you finish the splining, right? Get down and get these even. Sharpen and smooth, sharpen and smooth. I go through every one of them. As tedious as it is, planting to me is daunting because it can go on forever. Just fixing the splines, it's going to take you 5 or 10 minutes, but you know, it'll be over in 5 or 10 minutes. It's not the most exciting thing, but definitely do it. Just go spline by spline, and sometimes you have to go through 2 or 3 times. I'm not sure if this is finished. You probably could put some bunkers up there ahead of where the circle is right now, and maybe some bunkers over here. And again, you're pretty flat. It's just down 16 feet. It's not much going on. I would pick which way this fairway is going as far as tilt and camber. Because it's kind of going a little this way over here, a little this way and flattish over here. I'm not sure what you're trying to do here. This one could be a switchback hole if you really want to make it a Ross. Because right now this kind of favors right to left, and so does the approach. What you might want to do here is make this a switchback and favor a left to right, and then a right to left at approach. Just a thought. Otherwise, again, good. Just be careful of splines. I'm not sure this thing. You use this a few times. I'd go all the way around it or not. I'd leave a little, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just trying to think where you would see that if I see that. Maybe you have something in mind that I don't know about. I don't think it looks bad. It's just sometimes it goes all the way around or it doesn't. And what I do is I line up the spline of the fairway with the spline of the green, and then you get that extra few feet, and so it's like an even thin ribbon around the side rather than snug right up against it. Okay, it's another 4. Now you got a center line bunker going on. All right, so center line bunkers, I've screwed up so many of these in the past. I won't let you do it. I think too big because there's no room over here. The whole point is to have an option over here, and that's what I always screw up when I do these holes. So you've got to have a lot of fairway, and you've got to have room on either side, and to have less room. I'm sorry, on one side. So I mean here you've got the angle and the approach and the distance. It's going to be shorter. Here you're not getting anything out of this, right? Because you really don't have the angle unless there's something on the green I don't know about, and you're not getting the distance. In other words, it's going to be further approach from out here than here. So you want to think of that strategy, right? You want to make this a little bit more risky if you want the reward to be the shorter approach and the angle, or you can play with the angle a little, which means you'd have to fix that green. But that's up to you. I would say here there's not much of a decision, and this isn't doing much other than just getting in the way, because this isn't an option out here. So put an option out here, make this smaller, maybe make this a little bit more challenging, or play with that green and the angles on the approach, because you can get rid of the bunker on the right, or all the bunkers on the right, put them in front or on the left. Or I'll leave it to you to think about, but you know, it's just so strategically this one isn't working, because there's no way I ain't going right here. And remind me to talk about, alright, I gotta talk about the bunkers. Hopefully you have a few in the next hole. Especially it's a short approach too, right? So it's, yeah, and the green's kind of big for a short approach. So again, if you want to make this Ross-like, you could make some of these greens smaller. You know, I'm not sure if you're going for like old school Ross or modern private. Because Old Sandwich, I know, is not Ross. It's some modern designers. I think it's... Is that a... Hard to be spacing out here. Not sure who Old Sandwich is. I wanted to say Core Crenshaw, but I got a million things going on in my mind, folks. Sorry. That's what the graphics are for. I'll look it up. Alright, oh, I like that. Alright, so now you got some waste bunker things going on here, which we haven't seen. So if you want to go with that look, that will work here. If you fill this in and go with those, I like that, because off the tee, that takes up space. I really am not very good at these. I got to get better, because it does take up some dead space for you, right? If you can put those things in there, it gives your course an interesting look. And combine that with the grass off to the left, and you put some of those kind of red plants and bushes in, that red hue look. Be a pretty good looking course. So this is the hole that's not finished. Let me hit the shot and then we'll talk about just sculpting the bunkers a little. So for this, yeah, you could... Well, let's see. This is a 5. Ooh, yeah, you got to work on that green a little, because that's a little too much. And then you got the bunker in front. I like that. You can put a series of bunkers up in front of the circle. That's not bad. Kind of cut that off a little. Then the idea would be go over here, and then you kind of got a tight shot into the left side, right? Because you really do want to be out here. So you can put some bunkers out in front of that circle. You can put one kind of right in front there. I don't know what your plans are with this fairway. And kind of make this a little bit of a tighter drive. Or you kind of got some room out here. But maybe it's a little bit further away, right? If you cut the corner, you've got a shorter shot, but a worse angle. This you have a longer shot, but a better angle, especially to the right side. Again, kind of flat. And this, that's a good idea right there. I don't know if it needs to be that big. So just make sure you sculpt your bunkers evenly and sculpt around them. And kind of, you know, do the sculpting around the sides too, okay? The way I've been doing it is I basically I flatten the bunker area now. I kind of use a hard brush and flatten. Then I put the texture in, and then I use a raise and bring it up to level it, right? Because it goes down a little too much. And then I either use the raise and just lower it a little bit to make it concave, or I use the flatten at a very high setting, like 1 foot or a foot or foot and 2 inches or something. But you got to smooth those and then do the sculpting around it too, okay? Make sure you kind of have a high side and a low side. and don't make them too deep and bathtubby. But that's not bad because I got to drive out here. Now the wind is against us, but that leaves us a little. I'm not really going to get there. So you got a little bit of a decision, especially with the water over here. You might even want to move that bunker over a bit because that's really going to give you a decision. Because, yeah, I could just throw it there right now. I'm not in an adventurous mood. Just going to throw it over there, and I whiffed on it. Oh, jeez. And I don't know if you want that heavy, rough texture going in to the spline like that, where it's kind of, very burnt out almost. So you could just take the heavy rough brush and go over those sections because it's kind of weird. It goes fairway, light rough, and that woodsy heavy rough, which is a good look, but that really wouldn't be burnt out next to that light rough like that. I think that looks a little weird. I've seen that a few holes. Okay. Let's get this rolling. And I totally whiffed, and we will see your bunker close up. And this will be a pretty shot here. And you get these putts looking out at the water. So yeah, I would definitely plant that little pond and make it look pretty, because most people are going to be hitting this location from this side of the hole. And you'll give them a pretty little vista here. Lighting's fine. You might want to go lower, but I'll leave that to you. There's nothing wrong with it. So I think that's it. I think that's the last full hole. You're gonna have another 5 back to back. That's interesting. So you can see here the rest of the course isn't done. But this I like. So, all right, this is going a little sideways and going the other way. So now you're getting some variety in there. So shake it up a bit. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, pretty good. And I like this off the tee, right? That look right in front of you is pretty cool. So I think that's it for me. It's a little bit more contouring, a little bit more elevation changes. Make sure you touch everything up, the splines and everything. But the look and the feel looks pretty good. I think you got the basis of a pretty good course. I think it works for a New England course. The lighting, I think, is fine. It's a little overcast, which I assume you did on purpose. I've been doing that a lot lately. But think through your lighting if that's what you truly want. And make sure you sculpt the bunkers and make them interesting. All right? Cool. All right. Let us know when you make some progress, and we'll take another look. And make sure if you put crowds in too. We like crowds on the casuals, so hopefully we'll get you on there when you finish. But the crowds always are welcome. So great job, Neil. Keep up the good work. Keep watching, folks. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. If there's anything you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.